Hey everybody, my name's Larry. If you like these videos that I do, please like, share, and subscribe. I was going to talk to you a little bit today about my first house, getting married, and the first house we built. We got married, it's been 47 years ago. We didn't have, as they say, a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. We didn't have any money. We were just living on love. But I had good parents and I had good in-laws. My wife had good parents. And when we got married, my father-in-law, he said, you know, I've got this rent house over here. And he said, I'll let y'all live there for 1 year rent-free. That was huge. That was a huge thing to get us started because I owed my mom some money. Throughout the years, I would borrow some money from her and, you know, take my wife out on a date or out to eat or whatever. And so I told her I'd pay her back every dime if she had helped me. So after we were married, like I said, if you've watched my previous videos, my father-in-law was a sheetrock finisher and a painting contractor. And so I had a job. I worked with him about 6 days a week. Every once in a while I'd do a side job. That'd be a 7th day. And as the 1 year time frame was coming to an end, we started to talk about what we were going to do. Were we going to try to rent that house for, you know, a considerable time longer, pay them rent? And we come across the idea, we thought we'd build a new house, which was scary since I was only about 19 and a half. I got married at 18 and a half. And we began to think about that. And it turns out we did pay 2 or 3 months rent because while we were building the house, we needed a place to stay. But I had an uncle, he had an acre of land, so he gave me a good deal. I bought that acre of land. My father-in-law helped me. We got a loan, and we looked at plans, and we found a house plan, which was pretty simple, 1,280 square feet. And at the time, again, that's 1980. You know, interest rates back in my day, if you was 6-7%, that was great. I mean, we never saw anything like the 2.5-3% like has recently been seen a few years ago. So 6 or 7% sounded great. We got a loan. We began construction, and a spider on me or something there. And we began construction. And it's funny how things used to work years ago. We did a lot of it ourselves. I think they used to call it a barn raising back in the day. People would come over and help. That's sort of what we did on some of the house. We hired the plumbing done and the slab done. And then, of course, I had brothers and uncles and in-laws and outlaws. They came over when we were framing the house, and we framed that house up. My father-in-law was a pretty good carpenter. My brother was a pretty good carpenter. So, you know, those two were the brains behind the framing, and we just, everybody else was labor. But we framed that thing up dang near in a weekend, maybe, you know, final touches a few days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week. But we framed it up pretty darn quick. We had a good crew. And I think we contracted out the electrical and the heat and air, but we framed it and, you know, did all the sheetrock, we did all the painting, did all the trimming. Back in those days, paneling was very prominent, and of course nowadays sheetrock is, and so that house that I built had a lot of paneling in it. It had 2 bedrooms that was sheetrock, and then all the closets were sheetrock. But a little different mindset back in those days. The good thing about paneling is, you know, it's you put it up and it's pretty well finished, so it's not like you got to finish the sheetrock. But it was a nice looking house. I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I had never really lived in anything that nice or new. Didn't expect to, but I remember as we came to, you know, nearing the end of construction and thinking about closing on our loan, a recession hit. You can look it up, 80, 81, 82, and interest rates started going up every day, man. They were going up, and our interest rate before we got closed was 11%, and I about I thought we were going under. It was 11%, and my house payment was $287, and that included taxes and insurance, and I thought we were going under. If I'm not mistaken, interest rates went up to about 12 or 13% before they settled, and they began then over the next few years to digress backwards down to, I don't remember what they got back down to, 7-8% or something like that. And I refinanced that house and got a better loan and a better house payment. But that just goes to show you, when you're young, $287 nowadays, it's 2026, and you think, man, that's a joke. But let me tell you, back then, that was quite a bit of money, especially for a kid that just got married out of high school and you know, had that house payment. Also had my wife had gotten a new truck right before we got married, and her dad was paying the payment. I remember he told me when we got married, he said, "You're gonna get my daughter, but you're also gonna get this truck payment." And that was $121.09. And I thought that's a pretty good deal. I mean, I'll take them both. What I told him, I think. But you know, that's how we got our first home, and up to 2026, I'm now living in my fourth house. We've had 4 new homes. We'd sell and build and sell and build, and it's funny and ironic. I'd always say, man, I'm gonna sell and make some money, and I'm gonna build a little smaller and get out of debt. But I'd always wind up and build a little bit bigger. It happened every time. You know, you start looking at a house plan, and you stretch a wall here, stretch a room there. First thing you know, it's a little bit bigger than the one you had before. But through many, many years of hard work, working overtime, 6-7 days a week, smearing paint, and you know, good Lord was good to us, and we've been healthy and been able to raise our family. And so, yeah, life's been pretty good. That's a story of my first house. That's without going into extreme detail and boring you. It's probably long enough. I think this is now 7 minutes and almost 8 minutes. So if you're like me, my attention span is not that long. But hope y'all have a good day. Again, like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back with another video on another day. Y'all take care.